It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
And I'm Wayne the Count Miller.
and this is It's Movie Time.
It is.
I'm going to tell you, preparing for today's show, I can't believe the number of Dracula movies.
I know.
Since with the 20s.
And even though our listeners can't see it, but I brought with me, that at least on the video they can see a book called Bloodsuckers, Vampires at the Movies. It was a very decked out Bela Lugosi, and probably the most memorable, since it goes back to 1931, Bela Lugosi, and not the first Dracula film adaptation, but one that a lot of people would remember.
And we'll talk about that
Yes.
in our podcast, Back Talk.
Okay.
But meanwhile, people have to slog through the current movie,
Yes.
the current Dracula movie,
Yes,
called The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
yes. And I tell you, I was looking forward to this, and unlike some recent movies we've seen, I was not disappointed. And one thing that I liked about the movie that one critic criticized and didn't like, but you mentioned it in your written review on WCBE.org, the claustrophobic
Oh, yes,
atmosphere,
yes.
which I think really added a lot to the movie. And I think the cinematography, and the production values and the acting, I thought were really first rate. I really liked it.
And so, in order to put it in context, Bram Stoker has a short piece, right, on what happened on the boat
Yes.
that they were transporting from Transylvania to London.
Yes, and the one thing about that, I went back because I've got a copy of the book, and the book is mostly Jonathan Harker's journals and letters to his wife, back in England after he travels to sell this real estate property, to the Count, and but also her diary and some other letters, and one of her friends, Lucy, who becomes one of the victims of Dracula. Some little things from her, but also Van Helsing's notes and letters and journal and stuff like that. There's just a short, very, very, probably 8 or 9 pages from the captain's log of the ship, and that talks about how there's this feeling of dread and doom and darkness has come over the ship, and then one by one the crew disappears. And that's one of the things that I've always thought, and a lot of critics thought, it'd really be cool to have shown more of it. In Bela Lugosi's 1931 Dracula, the little bit that you see, that that he's traveling by ship, and when the ship shipwrecks, they're off the coast of England, and the people go down there, and you hear these people talking that, oh look, the crew's missing except for the captain who's lashed himself to the helm, and you just see that in shadow of the guy. And I think there's only one movie, and I believe it was Francis Ford Coppola's film called Bram Stoker's Dracula, with a memorable Gary Oldman as Dracula, that a little bit more on the ship as the crew's remarking about somebody else has become missing.
And, it's not as if this is all about Dracula. In fact, in most of these Dracula films, they try to restrict the amount of time that you spend with the good old boy.
Yes, yeah.
And here they try to do, when you have Bela Lugosi, you want to show Bela Lugosi, right?
Yes.
In most cases, people will filmmakers will try to avoid showing you. I think it's very difficult. They ought to be better not to. In this one, they do show it.
Yeah.
And it's not it's not Bela Lugosi at all.
Oh my God.
It's more a mix-up of some kind of devilish creature.
Yes, more in line of Nosferatu.
Yes.
Very early, almost illegal adaptation of
With the
Stoker's book. But more of a rat-like thing, and that also, even though he didn't need to, because he was really a very strange-looking man himself, I think one of your favorite vampires, Klaus Kinski.
is my absolute favorite.
In 1979.
Besides Lugosi is always it for me. But Klaus Kinski, you're right, about 1979 or so.
But also, it looks a lot like there was a TV miniseries based on Stephen King's book, Salem's Lot, and that vampire had the pointy ears and almost the buck teeth fangs rather than the
smashing nose.
Yes.
He's pretty ugly on the ship.
Yeah.
And we do get to see him now and then, but it's best when you have him as a shadowy character, somewhere in the background, so that you can get a feeling of the impending doom.
Well, and almost in a way, John, and I just thought of this, the wise choice Steven Spielberg made when he made Jaws, of keeping the shark, looking at the shark at bay, and as a number of the townsfolk get eaten up by the shark.
Sure, he keeps them off how long? Half an hour at least?
Oh God, yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Well, you see a little bit like his fin or something like that on as the crowd's watching him devour a little boy on the beach.
Well, part of the excitement of seeing another Dracula film, to seeing it updated, done very well with two leads. One, Corey Hawkins, who plays Clemens the doctor, the astronomer, and Aisling Franciosi playing Anna.
Oh,
kind of a turn here, don't you think?
I thought it was a really good move. Obviously, in Stoker's book, there isn't a mention of a little stowaway girl. It's kind of like us, John. When we go to a movie, we bring our own snacks. And and on his transatlantic, or actually his crossing from Transylvania to London, he brings her along to nibble on, I guess, because she shows the doc, her puncture wounds, and says that he's wanting to move to a new land. Yeah, because he's pretty much worn out. All the available people to suck blood out of.
And I love it's counterintuitive. You would think the sailors would be happy to have this chick aboard. No way. She is bad luck.
Oh, yeah. But really, I once again, another one of those women that I've talked about in movies that we've seen, like Batgirl in the Flash movie, that I really just a spunky little girl, kind of like Jenny Ortega in the recent Scream movies, really, petite, but also, she can kind of hold her own, and she doesn't like being brought along as the nighttime snack on the trip.
Well, we all know what happens.
Yes.
And that's part of the fun of seeing how filmmakers can induce us to watch 2 hours for something that we know exactly what's going to happen.
But and I'm not going to give it away, John, but there is a twist that is not in the book, not in any of their movies. A twist in this that we always think that everybody perished on board.
Okay, all
so
right.
I'm not going to give that away, but
well,
except in Lugosi's movie, where you've got Dwight Frye, who could definitely play a hunchback, or the little sniveling Renfield in the Lugosi Dracula movie. He did survive. He was down in the hold of the ship, cackling away like a little maniac, and then is taken to the sanitarium where some of the action takes place later.
Well, you have to give credit to Andre Overdahl, who's best known for the autopsy of Jane Doe. Sounds like he knows how to do this kind of film.
Yeah.
He directed it, and screenplay writers Bragi F. Shute and Zach Olkowitz, who both writers, all three together, did a good job of holding our attention anyway.
Oh,
even though we certainly weren't quiet about it.
Well,
given the gentleman who thanked us for the noise we were making.
Well, and I thought he was just being kind. I thought he was, maybe he was one of the listeners of It's Movie Time, or a WCBE contributor, but a donor. But no, but you said no, he was being sarcastic.
No, he was. Yeah.
At the end of the movie, he's leaving, and we're still sitting there jawing about what's in the credits, and this guy, yeah. Well,
So it's called the last voyage of the Demeter.
uh-huh.
And we're going to talk further about the Count.
Yes,
And
yes,
later on.
we got lots to say.
But right now, Wayne Miller, you have to give our audience a sense of what, now they're really listening carefully to what you say.
I
We
know.
talk about individuals and families. What do you advise?
Well, and this does have a little bit, there's kind of a family atmosphere of the crew on this ship, doomed ship. I would recommend people going to see it. I told my niece about it, and she just loves, she can't wait to see it. But she said she'll never go to a movie with me because I make too much noise. She needs more quiet. But I would recommend it, definitely not for little kids. But there's kind of a lack of gore, but a lot of suspense.
Oh, I think so, and that's a great point. As we exit, there is gore. He does bite necks.
Oh, yeah.
But
he chews up all the livestock
Yeah,
on board.
yeah, right, yeah. But it's done, I don't know, in a surgical way, or how would you say?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But anyway, he makes the trip, and he lives on, for Christ's sakes,
We'll
almost
see
a century.
more. We'll
A century,
see more.
wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been more. Stoker's book came out in the 1890s.
Yeah,
so,
and,
yeah. So-
Nosferatu was like 22.
1922, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're celebrating kind of the Count's probably 500th birthday.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends.